Hey, this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dynamite. Winter is coming from December 2nd, 2020. A lot of people are calling this show. I'm sorry, I'm not saying that in the President Trump way where it's not true. A lot of people are saying that this was the best show of the year. And I would be hard pressed to disagree, having watched just about every fucking thing that's come down the pipe in 2020. Um, we open the intro super dope. They're obviously presenting this as a pay-per-view quality free TV show. We open with the battle royal for the Rang, and so many great little stories are told here. It's really not worth going into all of them. Um, Again, you don't tune into me for a show recap. I will just say I'm a big fan. I hate battle royals, as people know. I'm not a big fan of tournaments either. But if you're gonna do a battle royal, I'm a big fan of getting it out of the way right in the beginning. I think it's one of these like sort of battle royals, if nothing else, are a nice sort of feel of an expenditure of energy. And this battle royal certainly lived up to that. Number of stories told, like I said, the Scorpio Sky thing continuing, I think was really nice. I think the way they wrapped it up was smart. They gave Miro a little something which he desperately needed, but they didn't have him win, which I also think was desperately needed for him to not win. The story of the inner circle sort of clustering together and helping each other out, but MJF tossing out Sammy Guevara basically. The interplay between Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara was our super exciting, like, tightrope walking stunt work. I thought that was really well done. And then having Orange Cassidy be there at the end. So it's going to be he and MJF for the following week. The winner gets the ring. Again, I just think great choices all around. Now we're promoting the rest of the show. Moxley against Omega in our main event, of course. Britt Baker against Hirsch. Big fan of Hirsch. I did not think this outing was as solid for her, but anyway, we're going to get to that. Um, Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes against Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, as they're trying to dub him. And then Jericho against Kazarian, which is next. And again, just so smart. You know, they have a whole match to open the show after that dope intro. And I think people are kind of hooked in and wired in and ready to go. We get Kazarian coming to the ring, and then we go to commercial because we know what that means. Jericho's going to come to the ring with his entrance. Everybody's singing. Super cool effect. If this is the first time that you're seeing AEW, you're certainly seeing, like, oh my gosh, an entrance that I've never really seen before, and it's really cool. They get a split screen during their match. This match is just solid work, as it should be. Then the interesting story of MJF running down with the towel, Sammy stopping it, Jericho hitting the Judas effect, but seeing Sammy with that towel in his hand and being upset about it. Jim Ross rightfully points out, like, well, Jericho can just look back at the tape. But I think that the point is sort of, and he's right? We don't want to get away from the logic, which is something that AEW does really well. They don't have, like, the mystery camera catching stuff and all that stuff. So we shall see what kind of progression they go from here. Alex Marvez interviewing the Young Bucks. The Acclaimed show up, talk a little smack, and then TH2 jumps the Young Bucks and beats them down. This is the one, if you want to have a fault with this show, it's that they had so many beatdowns and pull-aparts and all that kind of stuff, but they were definitely trying to generate a great deal of excitement for the show, and they were using this show as a springboard of things coming up, which I have no problem with. Britt Baker with Rebel. The interplay between those two, super fun. The way Rebel's used in the shows where she takes the big bump, super fun, super good. Against Layla Hirsch. They get a split screen as well. Eventually, Britt Baker rolls into Layla Hirsch into her lockjaw move, which is fucking phenomenal. This is the best Britt Baker has looked, I will say. Layla Hirsch didn't look all that great at points, but that's okay. I think she did the job, which is literally to do the job, which is to make Britt Baker look great, and she did. Thunder Rosa jumping out was definitely unexpected, and the punches that she and Britt Baker were throwing were fucking great. They are obviously making a concerted effort to elevate the women's division, and as the kids say, I'm here for it. Great shit. Match number 4, Darby Allin, Cody Rhodes with Arn. Will Hobbs against Ricky Starks. Again, one of these things that I'm not so sure at first. It's like, was this the right choice? But then I realized it was the perfect choice. Darby Allin winning with the coffin drop, so he looks like a star. Then getting beat down by Team Taz, which looked appropriately chaotic. And then, of course, the thing people are talking about is Sting coming out. I just don't see how you can critique this at all. In fact, it was really exciting to be brought in as a fan, to be there watching with other people who were similarly marking the fuck out. Really, really great moment. That entrance video, the snow falling, the way that he went around and looked at each person, and then finally the rub given to Darby Allin. Fucking home run. I mean, not just a home run, but a grand slam home run to win the game. Just at this point, the show is in a different gear than Dynamite has been before. It just feels humongous. Then we flex a little bit and show that we already have next week's show booked. Again, it's just one of these little wars that AEW wins against the WWE. They just win these wars, right? They're winning the opening of Dynamite, having a full match before they go to commercial, giving us action, always having shows promoted in advance. These are the things that the WWE is not doing. And people would say, well, those things don't really matter, but they do. They show a real promotion with their shit together. So we got MJF against Orange Cassidy next week for the Rang. Young Bucks against TH2, which we've already set up. Dustin Rhodes against 10. We have the ultimatum thing with the Inner Circle, because Jericho's frustrated with them, of course, because they keep arguing and such. We get FTR finally after they've let them sort of cool down after they took a big loss. It's something else that AEW does very smartly, is they just don't throw guys back in. And they're taking on Griff Garrison and Pillman Jr., and then we're going to have Abaddon, who's been scaring Sheeta lately. So we do get Sheeta with Alex Marvez, and Sheeta's trying to deny that she's scared of Abaddon, but then acts very afraid when she hears a noise. And people are saying, oh, this is bad. It's making Sheeta look bad. No, it's making Abaddon look great, and giving Sheeta somewhere to go as a gimmick and a character. Lance and the Lucha Brothers next week against Eddie Kingston and Butcher and Blade. Holy shit. Okay. And we're going to have a Sting interview as well. Big show next week. And they got a nice big audience for AEW to know about that. Promo by Jon Moxley. It's fucking great. The match between Jon Moxley and Omega, fucking really great, especially for what it's supposed to do. They obviously get a split screen. Little details that I love is, it's an hour time limit, but they have just over 30 minutes left in the show, and so they say TNT has allowed us, if this spills over, we're going to go with it. Really great. Just, I love those attentions to detail. And then Omega winning how he did with the Don Callis help, and then them running off and then talking about Impact. Again, just a show where it's just like, it's a show that lived up to hype, and Tony Khan, more importantly, got to live up to his word, right? When he said that, stuff that's going to change the face of wrestling, change the game. People laughed because they thought it was the Pac return. It was obviously this. And so he looks great in retrospect. And just fucking great shit. And it really feels like they're hitting their stride and hitting momentum. And we'll see how the WWE does, because I'm going to be doing the NXT report, which was their go-home show for War Games this Sunday, and I'm going to look at SmackDown as well. I got a lot of videos to do, but I'm going to get them done. But needless to say that this show was exquisite. It was just a booking masterpiece, and the execution all around was really good, and they're addressing problems and advancing angles. So people can be mad, but what's to be mad about? It was a fucking good show, and that's good for wrestling. Anyway, this is Platinum. Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus Dynamite Winter. Well, I guess it came. Did it not? And a whole bunch of people did when Sting came out.